distinguished members of the House of Commons and House of Lords, I thank you for holding this conference in the current difficult situation. The nuclear talks between the Iranian regime and the 5+1 is in its last round. At the same time, an international coalition is forming to combat terrorism and extremism, which has endangered the international community. Western governments' approach towards both challenges is crucial. Will they adopt a firm policy to prevent the Iranian regime from obtaining nuclear weapons? Would airstrikes against ISIS be enough to destroy the roots of extremism and terrorism in the region? I would like to, therefore, reflect on a few points. First, the Iranian regime in two ways has contributed to emergence of the terrorist group ISIS and the threat it poses to the world. This regime is the epicenter of terrorism and fundamentalism in the region. All such atrocities that the world is rightly concerned with today has been committed in Iran during the past 35 years. Over the past few weeks, scores of women were victims of acid attacks in Iran by government-backed thugs under the pretext of improper veiling. There is no such thing as compulsory veiling in Islam, and such barbarism must strongly be condemned. This regime does not respect international frontiers and has been seeking an Islamic caliphate. On the other hand, the regime relentless support for dictatorship like Bashar Assad in Syria and Maliki in Iraq, and aid to expand sectarian violence and suppression of the Sunni community has widely attributed to the growing of ISIS. The second point is that the greater threat remains the Iranian regime's meddling in other countries and its nuclear weapon program. Today, Iraq, Syria, and Yemen are de facto occupied by the mullah's regime through its proxies and paramilitary groups. The regime's advances in the region is the result of the policy of appeasement and not its strength. In short, the Iranian regime is the core of the problem and not part of the solution. It is therefore crucial to evict the Iranian regime from Iraq, Syria, and the region in order to succeed. It is also crucial to engage with the Iraqi tribes and Sunni population to empower them and let them play their role in the government. Any cooperation with the mullah's regime in the fight against extremism is like asking the Nazis to help liberate France during World War II. My third point is the need for the correct policy to confront this crisis. The core of such policy to achieve the best result is to reject any appeasement of the godfather of fundamentalism and terrorism. As you all know, as part of the policy of appeasement, PMOI was proscribed. Then, in 2003, it was bombed by US and British planes, and afterwards, Iraq was offered to the mullah's regime on a silver platter. This misguided policy has been very damaging. PMOI is the flag bearer of real Islam. It represents a democratic and tolerant Islam and is antithesis to Islamic fundamentalism. This movement is inspirational to all those who reject violence and atrocity under the name of Islam. Ashraf and Liberty are the source of this inspiration. Dear friends, concerning nuclear talks, the right approach is the implementation of UN Security Council resolutions which call for a complete halt to enrichment, unconditional inspection of all sites, and signing the additional protocols. The US, Senate, and Congress also insist on these conditions. As the leader of resistance, Masoud Rajavi, said, no patriot, nationalist, freedom-loving, and progressive Iranian would tolerate atomic bomb in the hands of religious dictatorship in Iran. A correct policy is also needed regarding the residents of Camp Liberty. Protection of the residents is the obligation of Western governments and, in particular, the United States. I would like to also urge all of you to continue with your efforts to end the current inhuman restrictions on the residents' access to medical care and for Liberty to be declared a refugee camp with freedom of movement for the residents and protected by relevant international bodies. You have fought courageously for years against appeasement and the unjust listing of the PMOI and have triumphed. The honor to defend a correct and just policy and supporting a just and legitimate resistance for democracy and freedom is yours. Thank you.